Do we have sound or no?
Yeah, we should.
I can't really see the
I
board.
think so. I can
hear
I can't
you.
really see the
Okay, cool. So we've got sound. You guys can talk to me the same way that I can talk to you. I don't know if there's a raise hand thing in there that'll alert me or alert everybody else, but some way to kind of keep it somewhat organized where everybody's not talking over each other. If we can just get one at a time, I'm fine with that, or use the raise hand and I'll call. Sometimes I might ask a question that's just designed for everyone. Please, just one person jump in and answer. I appreciate it. Can we go through before I introduce myself and you guys just tell me a little bit about who you are and how long you've been with KW, or as well as how long you've been in the industry in any way, please. So let's start with David Caldwell.
Yeah, I'm just getting back into real estate. I sold real estate for 6 years. Last time I finished up my career, it was with Keller Williams. I'm just getting back into it and trying to learn all this new stuff.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Hi, yeah, Josh Johnson, new to real estate. I was at USA Mortgage for almost 2 years before this. That's pretty much it.
Nice, Josh. Good to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Let's go with
Brian Jackson.
Wait.
Whoop, can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Brian Jackson. I just came over from Remax in December. Been in real estate for 22 years, and I'm just kind of getting back to basics and trying to learn the tricks of the trade to start putting these systems to work for me.
Cool. Awesome. Well, good to meet some of you guys, and I'll keep calling as we go through. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. My name's Brian Fisher. I've been a real estate agent with Keller Williams here in Springfield since September of 2020, so not super long. I've been in the real estate industry since September of 2020. Prior to that, I was in the Air Force, and then I retired and moved home and basically didn't want to have a job. So I wrote one word up here. I know you can't see it. It's going to be more for me than anything, but I wrote motivation, right? So somebody, please just give me, what's your motivation when you get to work? And when I say work, and I'm talking about being a real estate agent and being a realtor. So give me some motivation, Garrett. You could call it your big why. You could call it whatever you want to call it. I just call it motivation, just plain and simple.
I've got a 4-year-old I got to think about putting through college in a few years. I also got a 16-year-old that's getting ready to go to college here in a few years. So I've got to start saving up for some college funds.
Nice. Nice. Michael, what about you? Okay, I don't got Michael. Evan, what do you got? Give me some motivation, Evan. Anybody?
Money.
Money. Okay, cool. What else? What's another motivation?
Having a job you enjoy.
Job you enjoy. Okay. I can't write very well, so you wouldn't be able to read them even if you were here. Cool. So out of all of the things that you guys, I assume most of you guys were in Spark, from the lesson Fuel Your Career, the very first lesson that you guys had in Spark, what have you done to help you reach some of these goals or reach your goals specifically?
Work my sphere.
What was that?
Work our sphere.
Work your sphere. So what does that mean?
Get in contact with all people that you've been in contact with before in your life. See how they're
Okay, get in
doing.
contact. Okay, cool. Awesome. So from the lesson, set goals that matter. Somebody else give me something that you used from that lesson to spark your career so far.
How to build your marketing plan.
Marketing plan, cool. And we're going to talk a little bit about marketing, but we also need to understand the differences in that. What about find seller leads? You had a great lesson on find seller leads. Give me one thing that you guys learned from that. We'll sit here. It's cool. Anyone? Did I lose sound?
No, you're still here.
Okay, cool. I'm still here. I'm checking the chat just to make sure. If anybody types something, go ahead and type it too. And if you don't remember, that's cool. How about lead generation is the core? What about that one? Anyone, anything from that lesson?
How to prospect to your leads and
Okay.
maintain them and nurture them, build on them, build those relationships.
Relationships, cool. So whenever we talk about relationships, what does that mean to you?
Can you repeat that again?
Getting that top of
Yeah,
mind.
sorry, what does
Getting that-
relationships mean to you?
Well, you got to build relationships with those sellers. You got to consistently talk to them, nurture them, build a personal relationship with them. So next time that they're looking to sell or buy, you're going to be the first person on their mind.
Yeah, cool.
You may not be that person right now, but you want to be that person the next time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, in this lesson, some of the things that we're going to cover, we're going to talk about what prospecting is, how it contributes to your lead generation efforts, and then you should be able to explain different prospecting methods and learn how to develop your own prospecting plan. Some of the things we're going to focus on throughout this lesson, we're going to talk about lead generation for buyers and sellers. And then yeah, so that's what we're going to focus on is lead generating. Sorry. There's a whole lot of other things, and I thought that was where we were going next. So we've talked a little bit about what prospecting is. Somebody else give me another definition of what you think prospecting is. Chase, can you give me what you think?
Another definition of prospecting, I would just say going out looking for leads, going on the door to door knocking, prospecting, go through someone else's neighborhood that you might know, your parents or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Well, to me, the most basic breakdown of it is just trying to get people to raise their hands and identify themselves as potential buyers and sellers.
Yeah, so identifying potential buyers and sellers, absolutely. So we're just putting the feelers out, right? Is that what you're saying, Brian? Just identifying them for the future.
Well, so I mean, for me, prospecting is not only identifying them, but also figuring out what I need to do to stay in touch with them, to stay at their top of mind. Building those relationships somebody mentioned earlier. I mean, that's I mean, that's it at its core.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So these are the things that we're going to cover. We're going to talk how to connect prospecting to lead generation. We're going to discuss a deep dive of prospecting methods, some of them anyway. And I don't know if you've gone through your materials yet or not. It's definitely not all of them. It's just a couple of different prospecting methods. Then we'll take action, develop our own plan, and recap and create our success list. We just want to review one time the lead generation funnel, right? So where does prospecting sit at the lead generation funnel? Pretty simple. It's on the picture, right? Sits right at the top. So the purpose of prospecting, being that it's the top of your lead generation funnel, would be what? Jessica, what do you got? I saw your camera. You were unmuted anyway.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Try to pull that up. Our internet's not good out here, so if I lose you, I'll try to get you back up.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. So prospecting being at the top of your lead generation funnel, what does that mean to you? I think we're losing her. Anyone else?
Repeat the question, please.
So prospecting, when we're reviewing the lead generation funnel and we're looking at the very top of the funnel, prospecting is at the very, very top. What does that mean to you about prospecting when it comes to the lead generation model?
Well, it
Step
seems
one.
like what's starting the funnel process, it seems like you've got it split up between leads and contacts. I usually think of prospecting sort of being connecting with people who you don't know or have any connection with, but I'm not sure if there's a differentiation.
Sure. So what would that make that? What would that make that person? Somebody that you just talked to about real estate? Would it make them a lead or a contact?
It would make them a lead.
It would make them a lead. Why?
Because it's not someone who is already a friend or acquaintance.
Okay, cool. But why are they a lead? What would make that person a lead?
Well, somebody who's a lead has some sort of intention on moving or exchanging real estate.
Right, absolutely. So sometime in the future, at some point, they become they have some sort of interest in real estate. So it could be anybody really. And then what would be a contact? Anyone else?
A contact to me is somebody you know somehow, whether it be from business or personal, but it's just not somebody you've just randomly called or ran into.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So just somebody that you're talking to along the way, you put them into your database, hopefully, and then they move down into the cultivate phase, hopefully into an appointment. Then we get them active under contract and eventually close. That's the goal, right? That's one of the goals. So there's two different things in lead generation. It should always be purposeful and intentional, and also be the life of your business. Lead generation is taking a message and using a method to drive that message to your audience. So we have to figure out, one, what's our message? So it should match your market, right? So what would be a message we could use to while we were prospecting that would match our current market here in Southwest Missouri?
Someone that being able to get top dollar for their property.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody being able to get top dollar for their property currently. Why?
Because prices are up.
Because prices are up, inventory's low, all of those different things that we know, but we can build that into our message. Now, what would be the method that you specifically would choose to deliver that message?
Depends on the person, I would think.
Sure.
Whether it's a friend or a prospect, I guess.
Yeah. So there's two different ways, right? And this is, we're right at the top of the lead gen funnel. We're talking prospecting, and then there's marketing, right? So the difference with prospecting and marketing, prospecting being active, marketing being a little more passive, those type of things. So when you're developing your message to somebody, we need to have the market conditions, target audience, and then we need to have some sort of call to action or make an offer to them. So in today's market, what would be a decent call to action or a call to action that somebody has used when prospecting?
I think you can ask what do they think they could get for their house? Something that's going to spark up them giving a number and then saying, hey, maybe I could look at it and give you a second opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good one. Anyone else? What would be another call to action? Dana, do you have anything? Dayton, a call to action. Make an offer to somebody.
I guess, just ask if they would want comps run on their house, to kind of see what it's worth and see how much value they may have above what they owe on the house because the prices have gone up so much.
Sure. Yeah, and Dana, I don't know if there's something wrong with your microphone, but I couldn't hear you here. If everybody else could, somebody let me know.
Yeah, I heard him without any trouble.
You heard Dana?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not Dayton, Dana.
Oh,
Sorry. Hello.
maybe not then. I'm sorry.
Are you on Zoom right now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, bye. Yeah, I thought somebody was on Zoom. Dana, I think I heard you on that time.
Okay.
Cool, thank you. So, I know you were saying something. Can you repeat what you had said?
Oh, I was saying a call to action might be that, like buyers are standing by waiting or something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm prospecting right now, I mean, I don't know about what you guys currently have in your business, but my pipeline's not completely chock full of listings right now. If it was, I'd be a whole lot less stressed out. But I'm driving, I bought a new Jeep. I put 2,700 miles in it on it in 2 weeks. And I know you guys are doing the exact same thing out there, and I appreciate all of that effort. But when I'm calling currently right now, I'm saying, hey, I've got buyers. That's a call to action. If you're looking to sell, I've got buyers, and we can make it advantageous to you. And whether that means a 90-day closing or whatever, just an idea of what I'm using as a call to action for sellers. As you can see, my pipeline's not super full, so it hasn't worked right. Not quite yet, but it doesn't mean I stop, right? I continue because of my motivation, and that motivation to, sorry, go ahead. Somebody wanted to say something, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, that might have been me talking to my dog.
Got it.
Sorry.
I have a question, and this may be going off the rails a little bit, but with the idea of the economy and how, prices could potentially be going back down, but obviously you can give no guarantees on any movement of price. How could you address that with your message where maybe, hey, this is the most that you might ever get for your house if the economy changes, and what does that, how would that affect your message, I guess?
So one more time on that call to action. I need to think through it a little bit. So this is the most, because I don't know what's going to happen in the market.
So potentially, if the economy goes bad and it could drop home prices, you could have people having to foreclose so you could, as part of your message, say that potentially this could be the most you'll ever be able to get for your house.
Yeah, absolutely, you could.
But that's sort of speculative, and to not do it in a way that, I know you can't, there's no guarantee for what the market will do. So
yeah, but what would be a guarantee that you can make to somebody?
Well, I can guarantee you that your property is worth considerably more than it was 24 months ago.
Boom.
You're a seller. I can
Just
guarantee
like
you,
that.
if you're a buyer, that your rent will stop rising all the time if you buy a home. If you're renting currently. So I mean, it just depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah, no, and that's where I was going with the exact same thing, is what can I guarantee to them? I can't guarantee what the market's going to do. I have no idea. And I am a player in this market as well. I own my home for my family, right?
do we ever do, I'm not sure even how Keller stands on this. I've seen this some, but actual like sale guarantees where the broker would buy it at a certain price if it didn't sell.
I'm sure that that's something that you should probably talk to Jim or Don about, because I've never done it, nor do I know.
It doesn't work on a broker level.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work on a broker level, but there are ways that an agent can put together a guaranteed sale program. I've done it before in the past using investors to back the play. So there is some of that you can do, but it all varies. And right now, nobody's telling them that it's going to take them more than 7 days to get their house sold for the most part. So a guaranteed sale program is not particularly attractive.
Yeah, it makes it a little tougher, doesn't it? Definitely. So, but the big point I want to drive home on this is you've got to develop your message, and you've got to figure out your prospecting method to deliver that message, and then also some sort of call to action. We say the same thing in marketing, always ask for a call to action, but again, that's more passive, not as active to gaining clients or potentially, the now today immediate results money. So when we're talking prospecting and marketing and separating the two, marketing being at the top of the thing, money intensive, passive, long-term results. Give me just real quickly a couple of marketing things, activities.
Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, perfect.
Doing
Google.
some sort of event.
Yeah, an event, sure. That's probably more prospecting if it's a physical event versus marketing. We're talking like direct mail could be considered marketing, things like that. Things that are completely passive, a little bit more, hey, you just spend a little money and put it that direction. And then prospecting. So we want our prospecting to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced, our lead generation to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about enhancing our prospecting with some sort of marketing to remain top of mind. So I just set a geodialer to dial in Stratford 3 days after I sent a postcard. So, nothing out of it right now, but contacts added to the database for the future to continue to cultivate and potentially turn into listings down the road. So that's what we're talking when we say prospecting-based marketing enhanced. Enhance your prospecting with some sort of marketing on top of it. Any examples of things that any of you have done so far throughout your career that enhanced your prospecting through marketing?
I mean, would postcards around a listing or around a sale be considered marketing or prospecting?
So the book considers that marketing. I'm with you on that. I see it as both. I see it as kind of on the line. You could use it as either. And I think what matters most in that is the intention in the message as well as the call to action, whether it's marketing or prospecting on a mailer around the listing. And I sat and just kind of wrapped my head around it for about 20 minutes yesterday, thinking the same thing. And more what I came to on that was kind of what I said, but if I'm I have the listing, I want to market around it and I want to prospect around that listing, whether that be circle prospecting or not. But when I send that, hey, what message did I use in that postcard? Just listed? Cool. That sounds like marketing. Do you want to sell your house? I just sold this house for this much money. Sounds like prospecting. But at the same time, then I go down another rabbit hole. I don't want to go there. I'm sorry. My brain goes crazy. I apologize for that. In advance. I don't want to get too far into that. So as we go on through the lesson, please go, if you got your guide, turn to page 4. Prospecting methods that we want to kind of talk about. So these are just some of the methods. Let's go through a couple of them. Circle prospecting. Who's tried that and what is your experience with, if you have any? And okay, so sorry, let's define it first. What is circle prospecting for those that don't know?
Well, to me, it's either sending out postcards, or you can knock doors around a listing, or you can, if you've got coal or something like that, you can make calls. I mean, there's multiple ways to approach it, but it all kind of falls into the same category.
Yeah, so pick a specific point and then prospect around that point. Being purposeful in our search for client. So we've picked a point, prospect around that point. Community outreach. We talk about charity, volunteer work, things like that. Key relationships, we can build them with corporations, builders, banks, third-party data companies, different investors, all of those different things. How do you specifically think for you, and this is the important thing, how do you think prospecting works for you? Excuse me, which method do you think would work best for you?
In my
Or have
case,
you
anything
tried?
face to face.
What's that?
In my case, usually anything I can get face to face with people. I mean, I do a lot better. Yeah, mail outs, we've done it all over the years. Mail outs have had a minimal amount of response for me. You know, usually if I go knock doors around a listing, or if I'm, you know, anytime I can get face to face with somebody, I've got a lot better chance of turning that into something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Anyone else? I'm trying to go through the list here. Who do we got? I got to call on somebody. Michelle, are you with us?
Yes, I am, but I just
Okay.
joined, so I'm trying to get caught up.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so when we're out of these methods that are on this on the screen here that we're sharing, which ones have you tried, used, and which ones have been effective or ineffective for you?
Honestly, I'm just starting with all of this, so there's a lot of this I haven't actually tried yet. I'm like really new.
All right, cool. So which one would you like to try?
Well, so I am a real estate investor, so I would say probably I've been kind of thinking around that area so far.
Got it. Cool. Cool. And how long have you been on with us this morning? I won't grill you too much more if you haven't been on super long. Okay, anyone else? So,
Hey, quiet.
me? Okay. Can I talk again yet?
Oh,
If you
sorry.
yell at me to sit, I might sit. I'm just saying, you scared me a bit.
No, sorry, my dogs are freaking out.
You scared me just a little bit. I might sit down.
Sorry.
It's okay. So when I look at prospecting methods, this is where I spend, I would say, probably 3/4 of my life is in prospecting, and constantly adding new people to my database. And when I look at prospecting as methods, for me, I'm with Brian on this. Face to face is great, even though this ain't that pretty. People tend to do okay with me face to face. I'm pretty decent on the phone when I just cold call people. It's a great method for me. I'm pretty decent at it. Those are my two big ones that I'm prospecting for right now. But what keeps you going towards that goal? And I feel like, you know, and again, I'm new, right? I've only been doing this for a year, and some of you guys have a ton of experience on me. But I think I've listened enough to some of you all, and I think I've heard the answer over and over and over again. And if you listen, you'll hear it. You have to lead generate to stay in this business. Yes, no, clap. No, I don't know. You have to lead generate. So you have to prospect, which means you have to continually put people in your database so that you can continue that relationship and nurture. So when I'm circle prospecting, my goal of circle prospecting is just to get info. That's all I want. I'm just asking questions, getting info. My call to action is, how can I help you? They're going to tell me whether I can help them or not. Can I get your email? I already have your phone number. I already have your name. And I have your address probably because I've used the dialer or some sort of system to do that. So I have all of those things. I'm just connecting those dots and putting them into my database for future contact and continued development. But again, a lot of people I know won't get on the phone. So who, you know, somebody just raise a hand. I think there's that thing. Who in here is afraid of the phone? Like just getting on and calling strangers. And I'm trying to look at the pictures too to see what I can see. So I got a couple hands and I get it, right? I get it. I'm afraid of the phone, right? I don't like rejection personally. It doesn't really affect me that much. I just don't like it. I don't dwell on it. Some people do. I don't love the work up to just getting somebody on the phone. Hey, there's a hand up. Love it. You got something to say or just nervous?
Yeah, I
about
got something to say. I really do not like phone calls, but
Yeah.
I've always, when I sold real estate before, even in my current business, getting on the phone and making a few calls a day ends up turning into something. And as much as it's not my favorite thing to do, I like the more passive, the more direct mail, stuff like that, the Facebook stuff. But once you get past the fear, there's success on the other side of it. And that's the way I see it. It's just, you got to get past that, get on with it and
Yeah.
do it. It's going to be a part of the business, whether you like it or not. And once you start doing it, you start getting used to it. So, after that first week or two, you're like, you get in the breeze of it and do it.
Sure. And it's the same with door knocking or anything else. Like, it takes that work up, right? There's some anxiety that goes into it and all of those things. For me, I just heard it put, so it's really difficult. It's hard. It's not hard for me to get out of my comfort zone and go do those things. I don't love to do them, but I can just go do it because of your guys' motivation, right? Your motivation, reason for me, not necessarily for me, but your motivation is the reason you get on the phone or go door knock. So I just heard this the other day. I rewound it about 14 times and listened to this quote over and over and over again. It was on a podcast. Jordan Peterson said it. Motivation can be measured as the willingness to expend energy to reach a goal, right? So getting on a phone call is expending energy. My goal is to never have a boss again. That's my only goal in life. I just want the freedom of not having a boss. That's all I need in life. So in order for me to never have a boss again other than me, I've got to do these things. I've got to be uncomfortable. How much energy am I willing to expend to go do that? And that's the question I just have for you guys, is how much energy are you willing to expend to reach whatever goal you have? And that prospecting, being that it's labor intensive, being that it's time inducive, it takes time away from family. It takes time away from going and showing a property. Sometimes I get distracted because I'll have to go show at 9 a.m. instead of my 2 hours of phone calls or my hour of phone calls in the morning or whatever I need to do. And then I get sidetracked. So making sure that that's a base part of your business, because I really believe that there's nothing else that will help you reach those goals than this right here, is just prospecting, talking to people about real estate, putting them in your database, and then focusing on the rest of the funnel. Any questions on that so far? Comments? Please share stories if you could. Cool, never mind. On to deep dive of prospecting methods. So the question that I have on prospecting methods is, and this is not rhetorical, if you could just answer it, what's the block on some of these things? Because we see it every day. People will say, hey, I want to be more successful, and whatever that means to them is okay. But what's your personal block right now to getting into these prospecting methods if you don't have any? And if that block is education, here we go. Anybody, personal block?
I think lack of focus is usually something that most people are challenged with.
Yeah, lack of focus, sure. Any others that you've either experienced or know of? Go ahead.
As well as call reluctance, obviously, for a lot of people.
Yeah, anxiety, call reluctance, those type of things for sure. Anyone else?
Lack of knowledge.
Cool, lack of knowledge. Yeah, and so in that lack of knowledge, what do you need?
You need to do some research.
No.
Spend
What
your
do you
energy.
need? I'm asking. What do you need?
Me personally, well, I don't want to, like, I plan on door knocking, but I don't want to go door knocking and say like I can sell your property if I don't really know anything about like how to sell it. As far as like contracts go, which documents to bring, X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense?
Sure. So before door knocking, what do you need to do?
Go on MLS and check out the neighborhood and get some specs and get an analysis done.
Okay, and what are you gonna do with those statistics and those specifications?
Utilizing the conversation that I have when the person opens the door.
Could you make a flyer?
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
Could you?
I could, if I had the money, the resources
Yeah,
for it.
so you can make a flyer, right? You can print it out at home, maybe buy a print cartridge. So leave them with something. And if nobody's home, leave them with a little something there. Could you do a CMA for a property and go take it to them? Sure, you could do whatever you want, right? But how do you break that block? So for me, I just reverse engine, I just go backwards, right? So if I know I need to go knock doors and I want to go knock doors, but I have a block, what do I need to do to get over that? Cool, so I need to do some research on that neighborhood. All right, so I've done my research on the neighborhood. I know every statistic about every single house that's sold in that neighborhood, hands down, backwards, forwards in my brain. I can spout them out almost by address. And then I go hit the doors, armed with every single bit of knowledge that somebody can have. And then the other stuff, you know, you have your, you know, you have to deal with objections and all of those other things that come up. And those will happen through practice, sure, but at least you have the basics, right? To get out there and hopefully break that block to gain some clients, put them under contract, get them closed, fill your funnel, fund your motivation, or fill your motivation with whatever that is, whether that's purpose, fulfillment, whether it's money, doesn't matter. So door knocking, we've talked about it here. So a little bit, some of the benefits of door knocking, anyone that I want to, what is a benefit of door knocking from somebody who's never knocked on a door in order to prospect? What would be a benefit of door knocking? And I don't mean to call you out about your lead generation efforts. I don't mean it that way.
Yeah.
I want to get you over that. I want to help you get over
I would
it.
say, yeah, it's face to face. You know, somebody's not going to hang up the phone on you. I guess they could slam a door in your face, but
Sure.
you know, hopefully they wouldn't. They'd be less likely to do that.
And if they do?
Then you move on to the next one.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's easy said, right?
Yeah.
It's really tough when somebody slams the door in your face and you're just standing there like, man, what did I do to this person? All I was trying to do was be nice. But you know, I mean, I get it. What else? Anybody else? What would be a block from going door knocking from somebody who's never gone and knocked on a doors, but has thought about it and wants to?
Yeah, I'll just speak up because it's something
Yeah, go for it.
I'm hoping to do when the weather gets a little better. But you know, just developing that flyer, developing that message and call to action, and just kind of working through, hey, what am I going to say when I get there? You know, you got to kind of figure that out before you just, you know, go door knocking.
Yeah. Yeah. So limiting beliefs on door knocking is is the phrase that the text uses, right? For different things on door knocking. Nobody's going to say yes is a limiting belief. There's a block. Somebody might. Attitude, ability, the, you know, motivation to just go do it. What's the goal? What's your goal? It goes back to it. Never have a boss again. All day, every day. Never have a boss again.
I just think people maybe put too much thought into what that initial contact is for, because you're not trying to get them to sign on the dotted line. You're trying to get them to identify themselves as somebody you should have a further conversation with, right?
Yes. Yes. I hate giving out business cards. Does anybody else, like, I believe in business cards? I think they're dumb. I think they're useless. I hate them because I don't have their information. They have mine. What's that do for me? What's that do for the relationship? If I give and you know, in a dating situation, if I give a girl my phone number, I hope to get her phone number back, and maybe it's the right one, maybe it's not. And it's the same thing. So I'm not just giving. I also would like to receive a little something so that we can continue this relationship. And I can't count on you to do it, but I can count on me. And that's where I look at it too, Brian, is I'm all in data gathering. Everything's about data gathering, information collection, contact management down the road. What?
I like that idea. There's something about a business card that feels like you're trying to sell somebody something, as opposed to a friend. You might put their phone number in your phone. I mean, you could always have a business card, but I think it makes it feel more personal if you just try and keep somebody's phone number or
Let me text you a copy of my business card. What? You laugh? Let me text you a copy of my business card real quick. Okay, no problem. My number's 417-599-0261. Pop it in. Here's the copy. You know what I mean? It's that simple. It's a different conversation about a business card. Same thing, but again, it's about cultivating a relationship. And it's not about the deal for me. I mean, we can go sell houses. Everybody can. I look at statistics every day like everybody else. And everybody, I really believe that if you put your mind to it and you put your effort and your motivation towards it, you can be successful doing this job. And the question that I have on this is with, especially like door knocking, prospecting, cold calling, all of those things, is what level of commitment does it take? And then what level of commitment are you willing to put in, not just in the prospecting, but in the staying in touch down the road? So these are just like the 4 A's of door knocking. So approach the door, act, knock on the door, ask them for their business referrals, permission to stay in touch, whichever your goal is, and then advance the conversation through staying in touch. We're moving on to page 6, agent to agent referrals. Love these. Nobody sends them to me, but I send a lot out. And I say a lot, probably 15 in the last year. I sent out referrals, 10 or 15 referrals out. What's a way for us to generate agent to agent referrals?
Build relationships with agents.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Referral partners.
Yeah. What methods have you used to build relationships with agents?
With other agents or?
Yeah. Yeah, with agents.
I have not. I've not done that.
Brian, you were talking about it?
So, yeah, so the Facebook groups, bunches and bunches of real estate Facebook groups on Facebook, you know, with agents across the nation. I've gotten a lot of business out of that over the years. Mark Stewart is a wizard at getting them out of, and I can't remember if it's lab coat agents or if it's real estate masterminds that he's got such a corner on, but he's really got it for this market.
I see his name a lot.
Yeah, but there's just you know, there's so many of those, and that's probably been the best for me to get agent to agent referrals per se. I also do a ton of business networking, so I've gotten to know people, and some of them have moved out of the area, and you know, so on and so forth. So so that works as well.
Sure. Anyone else? So personally, I'm working a lot on outbound only. I feel like getting new, right? So I'm working outbound first and creating those relationships that way. And hopefully down the road, they'll turn back this direction. How I do that is through Facebook as well. But I'm on the lookout for friends and family, people that I know of my 3,000 friends who are now relocating for one reason or another. And when they're relocating, I offer a hand. Can I interview an agent for you? And sometimes it takes 3 to 4 interviews to find an agent for a friend of mine, a personal contact, because I want that to be a positive experience as it reflects on me too. But those are some ways that I'm doing it right now. Anyone else on agent to agent referrals? Cool. Simple. So some ways that we can do this, and I saw this happen a couple weeks ago, actually. I got a notification through the Kelly app and the Command app that there was a broadcast referral from somebody in Pennsylvania for a buyer, I think, down towards the lake. It came out from Command as a broadcast referral. So an agent just put it into Command, said, hey, anyone in the region, I don't know anybody. Would you like to claim this referral? It was out of my area. I left it alone. But somebody ended up claiming that. You can send your referrals through Command. You can receive referrals through Command. You can also research agent statistics in Command when you're doing that. Any questions on Command referrals? I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but if you want to dive into it a little bit deeper, we can. It's up to you. I take silence as move on, Brian. Quit fooling around. Open houses. Anybody really, really good at open houses that wants to talk on those a little bit? And I'll tell you, I'm terrible. Again, the face has to be. I understand the point of them. The conversations are great. I personally have a block that I'm trying to work on of figuring out the contact plan afterwards, but that's just something I'm working on. So
I actually had pretty good success with open houses over the years, but it's probably somewhere between root canal and colonoscopy for me. I'm just not a fan. You know?
Yeah. Anyone else? I mean, they're tough to come by right now. Listings are tough to come by, but that's not going to be the same in a year from now. Maybe. I don't know. So if we're not thinking about these, anyone else? Open houses. I need some help with these. So, not really, but. So great potential for tracking leads. Easy way to get in front of buyers or sellers. Open houses. So what are we doing at an open house? What's the point? Same thing, gain clients, gain prospects, gain information, right? All of those same things. So find sellers and buyers. When we're preparing for an open house, what should we do?
Know the neighborhood.
Cool. Some statistics on the neighborhood. Yeah.
I feel like you get a lot of neighbors stopping by.
You do? And what are neighbors?
Well, neighbors are prospects or potential buyers or sellers.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people will say knock 10 doors across the street, 5 on each side before an open house. Great idea. Circle prospect an open house prior to having it. Market the open house through Facebook ads prior to having the open house. All of these in preparation for the open house. So we're prospecting even ahead of the open house. I'm not just waiting for Saturday or Sunday. I'm starting on Wednesday, right? I want to use Wednesday through Sunday. And again, I'm still figuring out my follow-up. I'm pretty good up until then. But Wednesday through Sunday, I want to call people. I want to market it. I want to prepare for the open house. And then Sunday we have the open house. We prospect then and then pursue the prospects afterwards through follow-up and relationship management.
What is the, obviously listings are being gone before open houses. Is there a way to, if you're going to do a listing, to sort of guarantee yourself an open house and just say, if you listed on Friday and say, look, we're not figuring it out till Monday. We're not accepting till Monday because we are going to have an open house.
Yeah, that's up to your sellers. And that's the sellers. Do they want to, when you discuss a marketing plan at your listing appointment with the sellers, that's something that I discuss in the marketing plan. How are we going to put this on the market? I had great success a couple of weeks ago with a coming soon. I put it coming soon on Wednesday prior to Monday was show date. All offers were going to be in by Tuesday morning. And then the schedule was full by Saturday. So I wasn't running like crazy. The sellers knew the schedule ahead of time. There wasn't a ton of changes. Boom. Everybody went, they were not into open houses, but that's the strategy that we used. Now, had they wanted an open house, we could have done the coming soon. Live on Sunday, open house offers. But again, it's up to them, not me. I don't determine that. It's their marketing strategy and marketing plan. What is going to sell their house? And I understand that we're still prospecting and we're still doing their job, but I believe in the intention and the intentionality of doing my first job first. So if I'm at an open house, my job is to sell that house first, secondary to prospect for the next client. I know that's counterintuitive to the whole deal, but it's just my own stomach and what I can handle. And maybe I just put it that way to make myself feel better. I don't know. I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Social media prospecting. marketing enhanced through social media. We talked about this kind of throughout, right? Layering our marketing on top of our prospecting, hitting a neighborhood with mailers, and then also door knocking or targeting a neighborhood through social media. Who's ran social media ads? And I don't want to talk about them too much because again, that's marketing. But go ahead. Who's ran some social media ads? Benefits, Chase, what do you got? Benefits, downfalls, what do you think so far?
So far I've been trying to do actually a whole nother realm of social media with TikTok. Been trying to market on that since it's a whole different type of marketing way to get out there. Gotten quite a few hits on it. People seeing the name and seeing where we're at, and I've actually had a couple people reach out. So
nice, awesome. And benefit in TikTok is reach, right? So you may have somebody that reaches out to you from far away. Agent to agent referral, make that connection, interview the agents, do your diligence, and you can still help that person, even though they're not here. Why is it important to stand out at an open house? Sorry to go backwards a little bit, but the page made me.
Because they're probably visiting multiple open houses. And
Yeah,
if you want them to remember you.
Normal days, yeah, they're visiting multiple open houses. They're coming through. We want to make that house and you stand out. So what are some ways to do that?
Give them something of value, whether it be a list of homes similar to the one that you're holding open. I went out after an open house and showed a lady one that was, she lived across the street she was renting a house across the street from one of our listings, came through the open house, gave her a list of some other comparables. She called me before the open house was over, see if I could run over and show her one. And we had it under contract by about 8 o'clock that night.
It's awesome. Awesome. Definitely stood out there. So some things that we can do with social media while we're there, you can go live, those type of things at an open house. Post your open houses out there on social media, TikToks, all of those different things that would maybe get some more people in there. Stand out through the use of maybe contractors, raffles. Remember your inducement laws or regulations. Don't try to, have anything that's going to induce someone or get you in trouble. As we talk social media, marketing enhanced, these things, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those different platforms are connected through command, which I've used quite a bit is run command ads. They're super helpful for me. Maybe, goodness gracious. But when you're using social media as a prospecting, not a marketing, what they're saying in this is be more personal than business. Don't just be all business about it. Put some personality into the things that you're saying. Put things about your own house, your own family, all of those things. Be a person on social media as well as people's agent or representative. For the prospect to remember. Cool. So we've been at this for about an hour. Let's take a 7-minute, that work? 7-minute break, real quick. So it's 10:59. We'll come back at 11:06 for the rest of the couple hours. I'll leave the Zoom up, so if anybody wants to talk to each other or myself, happy to have conversation while we're in here taking a break. But yeah, we'll get back to it here just a little bit.
Is there anybody there live at the
Yep.
class?
Hey, I'm back. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wait a couple seconds, see if everybody gets back real quick.
I was asking, is there anybody there live for the class?
Oh,
Or is
no,
everybody
just me.
virtual?
Just me. Everybody's
Okay.
here virtual. I could have stayed at home. Thanks for the text this morning. Get it? Well, cool. Welcome back. Can we get like everybody just to turn their cameras on real quick? You don't have to leave them on if you really don't want to. I just want to see your faces and wave. I'm looking at the computer screen now. I got it figured out where I can see people and actually see who's here. Hey, Wim, what are you doing? Just hanging out, not answering our questions this morning. You've got so much experience. Please share it with us, man. You got to unmute.
Oh, I'm listening. You're doing good so far. Keep it up.
Thanks. I'm going to need your feedback later. All the stuff that I do screw up.
You're doing great.
Well, cool. So before we took a little short break, we talked about different prospecting methods, social media. We talked about door knocking, cold calling, all of those different things. So the next step is to develop an action plan. So when we're talking about developing our own action plan or our own prospecting plan toward, or our own plan towards prospecting, excuse me, what would be a method that everyone thinks that they would use? Type it in the box. Let's just see it in the text box. Just one method that you know you're going to use in your business. Let's see if I can see them pop up. Open houses, cool. Door knocking, prospecting for sale by owners, sweet. Social media. Can we talk about this for sale by owner for 2 seconds, Dana? What are you doing today that's helping you with for sale by owners? Because I see a lot of them, but I also know from my own experience of calling them that they're getting bombarded.
I haven't made any phone calls, but I sent out, I did a list off of the FMLS and then sent out flyers.
Nice. Did anything come back from that?
0, nothing,
Sure. And why do you believe that that's the case?
because they are being bombarded.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right there too. I think that's probably the exact case. David's going to contact his Mets on a database, on his database. Cool. So David, when you're talking about that, what are you, can you go into it a little bit deeper for me?
Well, people that I've contacted and had interactions with know me in some way or another, either through Facebook or I've talked to them, their friends or friends of family. Contact them, set a drip campaign up. One thing I use with my commercial cleaning businesses, I have anywhere from 200 to 400 contacts that I send out every month. Every month I send out something new every month, every 3.5 to 4 weeks. I've do this, the same people for a year. And usually about every month, I'll get 1 or 2 people call me. And that's one of those things you constantly got to be in front of them, no matter if they're being bombarded. I own a commercial office cleaning business. There are 130 commercial office cleaning services in Springfield. And there's 400,000 people in Springfield. You can't meld all of them. Find your target market to them, be consistent. Don't quit 1 month and do it another month. You have to be consistent. You always want to be next in that whenever you're marketing to somebody, because we don't have very long attention spans. I get stuff every once in a while to know from a realtor or from this person, that person. I look at it, it goes in the trash. But one day there may be something I may need this or need that. I've seen that enough times, I know who to call.
Yeah, so what you're saying on that marketing and that direct mail or that passive type of contact,
that worked for me before when I sold real estate. When I sold real estate, I would always whoever I contacted or whoever I met with, or in some weird way have made contact with them, they're in my database. They're getting marketed to, whether they're my best friend or my mother-in-law or whoever it is. Everybody always gets something every month or every couple of weeks if something new comes up.
Sure. That's awesome. Awesome. So recent survey in Keller Williams, the Keller Williams research team conducted. The top lead generation sources for millionaire real estate agents were referrals, sphere of influence or non-referral, repeat business, purchase leads, sign calls. So also pay-per-click, open houses, telemarketing, and farming. Those followed up the little graph in the list. So when I'm looking at these things, top agents within KW, these are the things that they are doing: referrals, sphere of influence, repeat business, purchase leads, yard signs. How do I make those mine, right? And how do I make sure that I'm taking care of those different things? And I think we still do a lot of the other things too, but where are you focusing your time? What are your top 1 or 2 different types of prospecting that you are going to undertake and do? So the first ones we put in the box. What would be number 2 for some of you guys that put a number 1 up? And we can just talk these through. We don't have to put them in the box. So some of you were saying that you're going to door knock. Some were saying contact their sphere. Some were saying contact Mets. What would be your second prospecting technique to use if you put your first one in the box earlier? When? Gotcha. What do you help me out? Number 2 prospecting for you.
Prospecting for me is monthly newsletters for my database. I market to, of course, all of my listings. I have I can't think right now, but I also have a monthly marketing plan for just my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then a routine social media marketing plan. Those are my main ones.
Sure. Yeah. So marketing to your strengths is important too, right? So I know the things that I'm fairly decent at. I'm not great at open houses. You don't see me hold a whole lot of open houses, personally.
Yeah, me neither.
It's just not my thing. I'm okay with it. So I focus my time on the phones. I focus my time on getting, I don't go face-to-face door knocking specifically, but I do a lot of face-to-face coffee shop hopping, talk to different people in person. And my sphere personally as my number 3. So a lot of people's sphere is up higher, mine's lower. My personal sphere is not that great for me. So I focus on them third. If I moved my motivation or my efforts, maybe it worked differently or better. But when I find those for me, those are my 3. Those are where I spend 80% of my time when I'm prospecting to clients. So, or potential clients. So as you make your marketing plan in your guide on page 13, I think 12, 13 on 12. So you've got some questions on 12 that you can fill out. And then on 13, it talks about mastering 1 or 2 different lead generation methods, and then make your own list to see where your leads are coming from. It's important to kind of go back and look at those things too, is where did my leads come from, right? So the majority of my leads have come from a lot of Facebook leads, those type of things. And to me, they're very low converting, but it's a lot very cheaply. So where have you guys been focusing your time? Especially like somebody brand new, somebody who's not done a deal at all, has not written a contract for somebody and been successful. Where have you been focusing your time?
Mostly on cold
For
calling.
me right now, I've been
I got Chase first, mostly on cold calling. And who came in second?
that was me. Most of mine have been trying to work my sphere of influence.
Who's me? Sorry, I'm missing it on the screen. Talking to your sphere of influence, sure. Anyone else who's not? We got some chats in here too that I can't see. Cool. Anyone
I've
else?
been doing the same thing. Yeah, I've just been trying to get the word out to my sphere of influence that this is what I'm doing now.
Cool. And how are you doing that?
A lot of it is, face to face when I'm seeing people. I've done a little bit on the phone as well. Trying to get more comfortable with doing more of it over the phone, but I haven't done a ton of it yet.
What's your message?
When an opportunity arises to talk about real estate, I mean, I actually have had some people ask me, so how is the real estate market? Because I put something out on Facebook and, I try to just ask questions about, it depends on if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, and just kind of see where the conversation goes from there. To kind of talk about what's happening.
Okay. Are you confident that those conversations would lead to future business? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
One that I had last week sounds like I probably will get a listing in April for somebody who's planning to relocate out of the area.
Good.
So I'm excited about that.
Right on. Awesome. And between now and April, what's your plan?
Just to continue to get the word out, and I'd like to do some door knocking in my own neighborhood, but I'm still kind of
No, sorry,
figure
not
out-
prospecting, specifically on that potential listing, because I guess my real question is, what's your plan not to lose it?
Okay, gotcha. So in this case, this person that I've known for quite some time asked me if I had any contractors for some specific things she needed before she put her home on the market. Fortunately, I knew two really good contractors for the work she needed done. And so I've been following up, just saying, hey, you made connections with them, do you have a time frame for when they're going to come out? So we just had a conversation last weekend about that. And both of them are good and busy, so they haven't been out there yet, but it's a good thing I can follow up again in a couple of weeks, see where things are at.
Awesome. Good. Yeah, no, that's great stuff. So how do you replicate that? And that's for anybody. How do you replicate that? Because once is good, right? We got to close one to close two, but how do we replicate?
I think just continuing to talk to people and just asking how I can help them, because that's kind of how it came about, where she asked about contractors.
Yeah. So every time I get a yes, I write down why. It's just something for me. Why did I get a yes that time and not every other time? And I don't write down the no's. I should probably, because they're a whole lot more. I've learned a lot more that way, but why did I get a yes? What did I do to get a yes? Ask for that feedback. Dana says, ask for referrals. Cool. Can you explain a little bit more on that? Thank you.
Just asking if they, know of anybody or, that potentially could be a buyer or seller.
Yeah, good. So Dana, I think that's in response to Dayton. How do you replicate is ask that person for the next person, potentially. Who do you know that I can help? Or who do you know that I need to know? Are you willing to give me their information? Or can you contact them and see if it's okay if you give me their information? Remember, I didn't say, hey, can you give them my phone number? Is it okay for you to give me their information? Ask the permission. If it's not, okay, cool, no big deal. But is it okay? I'd like to try that first versus just give them my phone number. So when we're focusing on our time on our 2 to 3 deals or our two to three sources, when you're building your action plan a little bit later, maybe what it says to do is list your top 1 through 10 and then prioritize those and then focus those down to the ones that you believe you will be best at or most successful at. And if not, the beautiful thing is you just got to switch. You just got to change it up a little bit. and try something else because you're not gonna know otherwise. Have you guys been doing these activities while you're in here? Or are we skipping those and you're doing them on your own?
We've been doing them outside of class.
Okay, cool. We'll just continue to do that then. So I'm gonna skip a few, I think a couple slides here. Does anybody have anything so far? Let me see where we at. Recap, maybe. This thing will work. All right, page 17 is where we're at now. Take 4 minutes, 3 minutes, write down some ahas from this lesson or any of the other lessons. For any of these categories that are on the screen. So how's your thinking changed? What do you feel differently? What actions are you going to take and what tools, models, or systems? So 3 minutes just to write down a couple and then we'll go through them if we can. So 11:25. All right, what do we got? We're a little early, but I think we're on the backside of 11:24. Ahas to achievement. Anybody who would like to share?
To me, one thing was know who you're talking to, know whether they're a contact or a prospect, and then have your specific model or your intentions based off of that.
Okay, cool. So how are you going to use that in the future?
Well, I think having a specific model for both of those scenarios, and then, but thinking to identify who you're talking to, and then what to implement at that point.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone? What do we got? I got some chat stuff going on. Sorry. Whatever you choose to be consistent. Can you give me a little more on that, please, Wim?
Sorry, my spelling isn't the greatest.
You're fun.
No, if you're going to do open houses, if you're going to do mailers, cold calling, whatever it is, just be consistent at it and just try to be great at whatever it is you choose to do and stick with it. You know, you could be an expert on anything if you just stay consistent at it. So just pick something that you're either passionate about or something that you're interested in doing and just stick to it and just keep working at it and keep trying to improvement, and then just measure if it's successful or not. If it's not, after 6 months or so, or however long you feel like it's taken to fully explore it, then either keep doing it or do something else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one message that I've heard ever since I started this is just be consistent. Constantly consistent will work, and it doesn't work necessarily right away, but it does work eventually.
Yep.
Anyone else with anything on any ahas, any actions that they'll be taking based off of anything that was talked about today? Cool. So I guess, let's go back here for a little bit. How is what we talked about today, how are the things or your ahas and actions that you're going to take going to help you reach whatever that goal is? How does that happen? And then what is it? How do we get there? Right? So we've got a 4-year-old that needs to get to college. That's a long time from now. Math, 12, right? Who's got the 4-year-old? Sorry, I didn't write down the name. Cool.
That was me.
Okay, cool. So actions taken, 4-year-old needs to get to college in 12 years. How do we get there? What actions are we taking to get there? What's our motivation level to get there?
Oh, it's high.
Yeah.
College isn't cheap.
I'm sure it's not. I haven't paid for it yet. I don't want to. But, and how do we ensure that we get there? Right? So, and this is just a little thing for me. So when I write goals down, and I'm a little different whenever I talk about goals than a lot of people. Like some people will say, write your 5-year goal down. I have no idea what's going to happen in 5 years. Let's be real, I could wreck tomorrow going home. I'd like to get somewhere I have a direction. So not necessarily goal, just a direction for me that far out. But what I do know is tomorrow, so my goal this week was to put a house under contract last weekend, over the weekend. I didn't hit that goal. So now what? Now what do I do? Nothing, right? I didn't hit it. I beat myself up about it. Move on about business and put 2 this week, maybe, I don't know, or 3. What actions do I take whenever I don't reach my prospecting goals, my final goal? How far backwards in the funnel do I need to go? Those are the types of things that this really brings to my brain. These are what spurs my action. When I talk about the very end, my goal this year, my wife said it, 75. She said that I'm going to sell 75 houses this year. We'll see if I do it. I don't know. If I don't, what's the ramification? Nothing, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is for you. Maybe there is a ramification for you. And if that's what motivates you and keeps your energy output up, then figure that out. But for me, it's nothing. It doesn't bother me. I can just go do more next week. Figuring out where in the chain of the lead generation model you have to get back to and really get purposeful about is super important, because none of this ever matters if you don't get it down to the bottom of the funnel, right? And we're just working for free, I guess, at that point. Any thoughts on that? That's just a random thought that I had. I'm sorry. help me develop that. I'm not perfect.
I think you kind of hit it there whenever you asked yourself, why did you make that sell, or why you successfully made that lead? Write that down, keep track of that, why you did that. And then also why you didn't you do it?
Yeah.
And why didn't you meet that goal? And then go back on that and, don't overanalyze it. You have to move on, but why are you successful doing that and continue to do that? But it's not to say that the other stuff that didn't work yet won't work in the future too.
Oh, I'm genuinely surprised when somebody says yes.
Oh yeah, me too.
Love it. That's the best. Yes. I got a yes.
I've been in sales
Wow.
my whole adult career, and whenever I have a client or a customer say yes, or somebody says yes, it makes me feel good, makes me happy. But I was like, well, then I of course I overanalyze everything. It's like, why did they say yes? So that just helps me move forward.
Yeah. Why did they say yes to me? I don't know. I never know. I try to think. You can always ask. So next is your daily success habits. These are the goals. I'm sure you went over these 10 home previews, handwritten notes, conversations a day. How are you guys sitting on these? How are you doing them? As far as the course has gone along, adding 10 people per day, I believe, right? Yeah. Or 10 a week, 10 conversations a day. How's that going for everyone? Have we been doing it? Some of us, all of us. Has there been an expectation? If not, I'll move on. I need to know. I'm sorry. Cool. So the next thing in the activity book was talking about script practice. Have you guys been doing script practice at all? I know we're not going to do it today via Zoom. That's pretty difficult. But we could do a little back and forth if you wanted to. Anyone? Your lesson, let me know.
Do you have a script you like to use when you're on the phone?
Yeah, so the scripts that I use are really, you can find them anywhere. They're Ricky Carruth's scripts. So if you go online, YouTube, Ricky Carruth, he's got some pretty basic, easy scripts that I've tailored to myself. So it's a very simple, hey, how can I help you? It's good to talk to you script. You want to try it? You want to see kind of how it goes?
Sure.
All right, just play along with me, Dayton. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Lovin.
How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Lovin, this is Brian Fisher with Keller Williams. How are you today? I'm doing good.
I'm good, Brian.
Awesome. Hey, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I was just calling the neighborhood. We listed a house in your area just the other day. Went like fire. Didn't know if there was anything in the world I could do for you today.
Well, I'm not really looking to sell right now, but I appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, in the event that you ever did, do you have an agent that you would work with?
Well, I actually just got my real estate license.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Who are you with?
Keller Williams.
Sweet. How have I not met you yet? Right? I mean, but they said Remax or whatever. This is just another conversation, right? So now we're agent to agent. We just switched that whole script. Take the conversation where it leads you. Where that would go most of the time is, yes, I have an agent. Yeah, cool. Well, in the event that they're not there when the time comes, is it okay if I stay in touch with you? And they say yes or no. No, I'd rather you not. Okay, cool, no problem. Thanks for your time. I hope you have an awesome day. Hang up. They say, sure. Cool, can I get an email? And that's it. I got your email address.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, do you have an agent that you would work with in the future? Yes or no? If they say yes, and give you a name, that's an awesome agent. You're in good hands. That's it. If they don't give you a name, you can always ask who it is, but I don't go down that, hey, if they're not there for you in the time of your need, can I stay in touch with you? That's if they don't give me a
Follow-up
name.
question.
You know what I mean? If they won't give
Yeah,
me a
quick-
name, it's just a question. And if they say no,
Yep.
no problem. If they say
Quick
yes,
follow-up
I try
question
to
to
get
that.
an email and go about business.
Yeah.
Go
Sorry
ahead,
about
yeah,
that.
question?
Quick follow-up question to that. Yeah. So it sounds like you've purchased some dialing service.
Yeah.
Does that help you get phone numbers for specific neighborhoods easily? Is that how you go about doing that if a home's listed and you want to, call that area?
Yeah.
Or what methods have you used maybe before you did that if you weren't using that?
Yeah, before I made any money, I had to figure out how to do it for free, right? So you got fast people search. Always bounce them off the do not call list, right? We have to say that every time, but because it's true. So you got fast people search, and then I pay for RedX, which is a dialer. I use a single line and I do it all by hand, but I feel like I'm more efficient that way, even though I'm not. I just like to have control. Let's put it that way. But that's what I use. I put a pin on the map, call 100 numbers, filter them how I want to, the same way whenever I send out. When you send out postcards through command, it's a very, very similar service. Like if you went through the steps through command to send a postcard, don't necessarily send them. It'll take you all the way to the pay button, and it's a similar type of deal. You can target where those things go. And you get however many home phone numbers. I think I get 1,000 a month.
Okay. And is RedX a monthly subscription?
Yeah, I think it's 100 or so, 130, depending on it's all levels based off of what you buy. And there's more than just that one. That's the one I use. That's the one I've always used, but it is what it is. There's Mojo. There's a whole bunch of other ones out there that I've looked into as well. Sometimes you get a lot of wrong numbers. Okay, cool. So now what do I do? Am I going to waste my dial? Or, hey, have you seen what's going on in the real estate market today? Just another question. I prospect with a lot of questions. And, same thing when I'm texting someone, because texting is now a thing too, right? Everybody says, call phone, use the phone. I'll shoot a text. Hey, just listed a home in your neighborhood. Here's the purchase price. Here's the MLS listing. Didn't know if there's anything I could do for you. If they don't answer, send a text, follow up with an email if you can get it, all those different things. But the big thing is, how much energy are you willing to expend to reach your own goals? Right.
And what would you say? I know you said you spend about, what do you say, 2/3 of your time, I think, prospecting, lead generating?
Yeah, so I try to spend about 80% of my time. So I'm personally very focused on work to a flaw sometimes. So please don't go down my rabbit hole with things if you don't want to. If you're like me, cool, no big deal. I know that it's a flaw, but if the activity I'm currently doing is not a money-making activity, I find it invaluable in my own brain. And that money-making activity be prospecting, right? If I make 100 phone calls and get one sale at $3,000, how much did I make? How many times did I get paid?
Once.
100. I got paid for every single time that I sit there and dial the number. I only got paid once in one paycheck, but I got paid every single time I dial the number. And it's mindset shift, right? So it's the continuation for me. How do I continue to reach my goals or my direction or whatever you want to call it? And what's success for you? It's all different for everybody. I mean, I could go down a complete 8-hour discussion about what success is, and I still don't know what it is. Because, it's just different for everybody. Cool. So script practice is important. Practicing your scripts, knowing what you're going to say, having some sort of objection, mindset. That the objections are coming, right? That they're coming. What they are because you've been cold called. And maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. I'm more respectful to people who call my number now than I ever have been, because I call people back. Anyone else as far as scripts go? What are some scripts that you have used on knocking doors or cold calling or prospecting face to face? What are some things? And everything you say is a script, so it doesn't really have to be written down or practiced. Anyone? Lots of crickets. Cool, we'll move on. Again, we talk about do not call list. And then we have an hour worth of cold calling. Something just happened in lights. Well, of contacts and follow-ups. And then contract practice after that. You have all of those different things. Use Command and Connect to get help. Who's using Command very well? Or who's not using it? Either way. I think it's great. I think it's easy, but it's all I know. So
We're
personally.
just getting started with it. So
Yeah.
still trying to iron out our database and everything else.
Yeah, and how are you finding it in comparison to other things that you've used? Just curious. Similar, worse, better?
She likes it better. I say she because my wife handles most of that stuff for me. So
Oh, you're so lucky.
personally, I would frisbee toss my laptop out the window if I tried jacking with it very long. But she's
Yeah.
good at this stuff. So.
Nice, good. Yeah, I find it helpful. It's easily connectable to other things, right? And that's where I have found it very useful. Connect has a ton of different scripts. YouTube has a ton of different scripts, different objection handlers, you know, all of those different things out there that you can say to people whenever you're prospecting. And then we have a success list. Observable actions is in your book as well. What else we got? That's it. As far as the slides go, any questions, comments, concerns, any add-on? Because again, I'm not the end all be all in this. I'm still new and trying to learn it as well. I've just been fairly successful at it so far. And I love to share that with other people. That's why I asked the why. And if somebody has problems, this is the forum. If somebody has a question, it's not just me here. We've got a ton of experience and ideas of what to say to somebody in those situations. So we have 15 minutes. We can use it or waste it. It's up to you guys. I'll sit here and talk, just have conversation. If you guys would like to, we can mastermind a little bit about prospecting, or we can shut it down. What is Command and Connect? Just getting started here. Okay, Morgan, sorry. Command is a lot of the CRM that we use here. And Dan Turkel teaches classes on these every week, on DocuSign, Command, Connect, all of these different things. You have access to them through the KW website. So Command being your CRM, and then Connect being a lot of informational type stuff, classes you can go sign up for, learning opportunities, things like that. Does that answer your question, Morgan? Cool.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. So being that you're brand new, yeah, thank you, Dayton.
Yep.
So being that you're brand new, how much prospecting have you done so far? Sorry to put you on the
Can't
spot.
say
but it's
very
fine.
much.
Okay.
I just had a baby, and so
Congratulations.
thank you very much. So I would say for the last couple months, I've just been telling everybody that I know that's what I'm doing after maternity leave. Getting started in real estate, and they're excited. I'm excited. I tell them I'll be contacting you. I'll be talking to you. I'm excited. So that's literally about it. So this is my first class I've sat in, and I'm excited. I've learned a lot today.
Welcome. I'm glad. Anybody have any advice for Morgan? Any ideas that you'd like to share with her, or anybody else in the class, in the course?
Megan, just keep showing up. Keep attending classes, keep asking questions. It's going to be information overload. There's so much to learn, but just keep attending and participating and asking questions. You'll get there. We've all started where you're at, and we didn't know anything. And look at us now.
Some of us feel like we don't know anything now.
That's true. Very true.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly, for anybody starting out, just be consistent. Just get up every day and treat it like a job and do it every day. And it doesn't really matter if you're doing it great or you're doing it poorly. I mean, honestly, it's a matter of doing it. I know people that do it poorly and sell a lot of real estate. So but they do it every day. And I say do it poorly. I don't mean that, but I mean, you know, it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. It's muscle memory, it's repetition, it's practice. It's, you know, if you want to be good at it, you just got to keep working at it.
No, great advice. Thanks, Brian. I need that too, because I'm still working on it. And I'll tell you something that I'm going to start in 2022 that I wish I had done in 2021. It's just an idea that I had while I was trying to go to sleep the other night. I'm going to schedule a phone call with every co-broker or co-agent that I do a deal with this year and just ask for feedback. And be open and honest about, hey, how do you think I handled myself in this transaction? I'm new. I want to learn and get better. Not just in the lead gen folk area, but in the transaction as well. I want to get better. So that's something that I'm going to do this year. Anybody else? Thank you for the words of encouragement. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to share, talk about? Anything? We got 10 minutes, or we can close it up. Give it about 10 more seconds. Well, cool. Yeah, thank you guys for coming today. Thanks for listening and hanging in with me via Zoom. Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming again today. And it being via Zoom, it's a little tough, but I think we got through it okay. I really hope you guys learned something today. I learned things from you. And again, for me, it comes back to this word here in motivation, right? So what's the level of energy that I'm willing to expend being a measurement for my motivation? And I've always wondered that is, how do you measure motivation? You know, you can measure it through a smile. So I used to be a drill sergeant back in the day, long time ago. And we would always have to motivate people. And everybody in basic training thought that motivation meant being loud, right? That's how the recruits, trainees, whatever, showed their motivation, was by being loud. So it was an action to demonstrate motivation, also expanding energy to demonstrate their motivation level. While that can be faked, it also can be very real. So the amount of energy and the purposefulness that you use to expand that energy equals your motivation, which helps you get to these goals that we talked about before. And it helps me a ton. Thank you guys again. That's all I've got for you today. If you need anything from me, my phone number, 417-599-0261. It's in the MLS, Brian Fisher. You can find it there. Text me, call me, email me. I'm happy to connect with any of you guys in the future. And I look forward to meeting you guys, some of you guys in person that I haven't met.
Good class, Brian. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you guys immensely. And any feedback that you guys have for the Market Center or for me, please let me know. Shoot me an email, bad as well, please. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Dana, those were emailed out. Did you register through the link?
I don't know if she's still there or not.
Okay, then you would have received it this morning. It's a link to a Google Drive, and then that has all the materials in it. I'll double check and make sure you did. Where does the mouse go?
I don't know. It's driven me nuts.